Oh, you gotta go up to sector. You gotta go up to sector space to get to it.
Yeah.
You gotta go to. You could be in the Sol system, but you do have to use your transport to get there.
Yeah, I was going to say you could transwarp directly to it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a character in our fleet.
Oh, if you don't have a character in our fleet, then we'll have to send you an invite to the starbase.
I'll invite him.
Where we're at, yeah.
I'll invite him.
Starbase 39th year?
No, it's the fleet starbase. We'll send you an invite. It'll take you directly there once you click on it. We'll send it out to you.
Matt, would you like an invite too?
I thought I had.
At transwarp drive. I haven't even got my daily done. This is horrible.
Go disable the damn tribbles.
Yeah, I think I forgot to do my daily yesterday. It hit me this morning, or it hit me after I got home from work today. I was like, wait a second, I don't think I did my daily, so I did it early. Well, did today's earlier.
I forgot where the conference table is.
I was going to say, where is the conference table?
RJ, see me? RJ,
see me? Fleet starbase system.
Look at the ramp in front of you. Follow me.
I was just up there. I didn't see a conference table, though.
Clean up the damn tribbles.
Well, you didn't look hard enough.
You didn't take the sky bridge.
Yeah, there it is. Cool.
I'm afraid I have to take executive position.
I was going to say you have to, because you're the XO, so.
Get out of the way, Chrono.
Bite me.
Don't mess with the executive officer's chair.
Go. All right, now.
You went into the Replimat area, didn't you, RJ?
Well, I went into the other area, wherever it is. I didn't realize there was another area back here. It's been a while since I've been here.
Yeah.
We don't even use it anymore.
I just wish we could customize these ships on the back wall.
Oh my god.
That would be cool as thunder.
Trying to remember what the keybind was for disabling the HUD. I know there was a... So I went through this last time we did this, and I couldn't remember.
I believe it's Alt F12 or 11.
Yeah, that's right. It was one.
Alt 12. Alt 12. Confirm Alpha 1.
Beautiful.
You're welcome. And as much as I'd like to, Chrono, I haven't got to watch hardly much of any of the Royal Rumble tonight because I've had internet and cell phone issues all evening.
Yeah, I've been having the same issue. My internet's been screwy lately.
Kind of torqued about that.
I was watching on Command though. It's on YouTube.
Well, I know who won the woman's side, so I'm good with that. So.
I really care at this time.
All right.
All right, guys. So the subject for tonight is Stowe, our current issues with it, complaints that we have, things we'd like to see them change, and also the future of Stowe, what we see it being under the current circumstances and everything. So, yeah. Anybody listening, welcome to the Admirals Summit podcast, where a bunch of us admirals from Star Trek Online get together and discuss various topics related to Star Trek and technology, whatever the case may be, sci-fi. And so tonight we are discussing the future of Star Trek Online and any complaints that we have, things we'd like to see them improve, whatever the case may be.
The XO is wondering if Egger's going to make it to the table.
I was trying to talk, but y'all kept going on and didn't give me a chance to ask a question, so I'm just waiting for y'all to...
Well, come on, ask the question.
I sent it to you.
I was asking, was it the Fleet Starbase, because I went out to sector space, and that's when, the Fleet Starbase showed up. Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, but if you're not in our fleet, you have to take an invite from somebody that it is, and I believe Chrono's trying to send that to you.
Yeah, I'm in the fleet. It's just that I was asking, is that the one that y'all meant? Because you weren't very clear.
If you go to your own fleet starbase, you won't be able to see us. It'll just be you there.
Yeah.
So you need to take the invite from Chrono.
Oh, Okay. That's what I was asking, and nobody
Yeah.
was being specific about it. So.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You should already know these things, Edgar.
Hey,
And
this
Sir,
admiral does
6-0.
not judge.
I never talked to anybody about fleets. I just joined the fleet, and they don't.
You're supposed to be all knowledgeable about Stowe at this point. This is inexcusable, sir.
So are the game creators, and they don't know anything.
You're not wrong.
Well, this summit's just gotten off to a really good start there, boy. I tell you.
Oh, yeah.
They even told me to ask players. What to do.
No. You went up the right ramp. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around.
Oh, Lord.
Turn right.
We in
Yeah,
trouble now.
We're upstairs.
There you go. Come on.
Oh,
Come on. Come across the lovely bridge. There you go. There's our brother Edgar. I knew he'd make it.
Standing on the table.
Well, so is Chrono. You know.
Well, no,
I'm
Chrono's
opening-
standing
I was
in
going to say,
there.
Chrono's floating in midair from my perspective. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Edgar's here.
My headset's about to die. Oh no.
That's not good.
Uh-oh.
Why do you guys keep standing up?
I'm in the damn Phoenix Price Pack store.
I love the dog. I love the dog. Oh, I love the dog.
Yeah, too bad it's a non-combat.
I'm gonna have my cat come sit with us for the evening.
Go ahead.
All right, guys. So, to start off with, what are some issues that you see currently with Deca having taken over from Cryptic? I mean, so far we've seen a lot of
The
very
server.
alarming things, such as
The servers.
Yeah.
such as after the Red Alert event at the beginning of the year, we heard nothing and didn't have any events going on for like a week and a half until suddenly they dropped in this, gave us the free Intrepid class ship and what was the first? Oh yeah, the event that we're actually currently doing.
Yeah. And that was one of my biggest concerns when they had no event going. I've played this game, oh God, probably a good 5 to 7 years now, and that is the first time in all the time I've been playing it that there was no event to do.
Yeah.
So that in itself worried me.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that kind of worries me is the fact that the event we're currently doing is a recycled event. They didn't come up with anything new.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
that kind of worries me a bit.
Yeah, to add to that, the event that we're doing, it is recycled. But last year's were recycled as well. They just added some new gizmo as this year we're getting the ship from Star Trek 3 that the Cleomber de Prey destroys at the beginning and was, screen used throughout the Star Trek series for other things, and so I think the main thing is they're going to recycle the events, but it's going to be a different reward leading to the grand prize award.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've got problems as well. The servers of this game, they're unstable.
Yeah, I mean,
servers-
there's always been an issue with the servers, but I do think that it's gotten worse.
It has.
Because Edgar has had issues a couple times with the server wanting to disconnect. I know Chrono has too, and I've been noticing constant rubber banding. And
Oh yeah.
not to mention horrible load times. Does anybody else notice really bad load times? Sometimes when you're doing certain patrols and everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot too lately. It happened last year I think it was, or the year before, all the time, and I even complained about it several times.
Yeah.
They said, "Oh yeah, we've been having that. There's nothing really you can do about it." Yada yada.
Yeah, because like yesterday when I yesterday when I was doing all those No, actually, it was Thursday when I was doing all those runs to try to get my other character up to level 65. I was doing patrols that I had been doing all day long, so all the assets should already have been loaded, and everything and ready to go, because normally I don't have any issue. If I've already done a patrol and all the assets were loaded, it'll load in just a few seconds. But I think it might have been Wanted that I was doing, and I went to go load into it. It literally took 5 minutes. I kid you not, 5 minutes to load into it, and I'd already done that one like 3 or 4 times that day. And so, yeah, there's massive issues with their servers right now.
Yeah, the lag is pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, rubber banding sucks.
Well, I will give a big one, and I believe RJ will whole 110,000% agree with me on this, but part of our grand prize reward this year is, again, the 2 T6X ship discount coupons.
Oh.
I love that idea. I love it to death, but the fact that they restrict those coupons to new ships out that have been out, and you have to wait 2 years to be able to use them.
2 years. I was talking about that earlier.
2 years. That is beyond ridiculous to me, because that's not a free T6 ship token to me. That doesn't say, hey, here's this 100% discount. Use it on any T6 ship. Yeah. And then this year they put that thing on their new. Some exclusions may apply. But you still can't use it on ships that've been out 3 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can see if they want to do maybe a 6 month for a new ship, that would be fine. I might even agree to a year, but 2 years is just simply ridiculous. There's no reason for a new ship to be considered that new at 2 years. It just should not be that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 years is just way over the line.
Well, and
because
go ahead.
The Infinity Prize box, you have to wait. If it was, you have to wait a certain amount on that one, and that one's even lower than the T6 ones.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not in the box before, I think, what was it, Christmas or the previous year? If it was in the box at the end of the year, you can't get that ship with it, and so you gotta wait a little while for it to pop. But that's not bad. But telling you, you got these 2 T6 coupons, but I'm gonna make you wait 2 years to use them is just
ridiculous.
Makes you wonder why should I've talked to some people in chat in game that were very frustrated and couldn't figure out why they couldn't buy the ship, and I said, well, let me ask you this, and I said, are you using the ones from the mega campaign event? And they're like, yeah. I said, you're restricted for 2 years on those if they're new starships, because if you're somebody that's just coming into this game, you don't know that. You worked your butt off to get those coupons, and then get told, oh, well, you got to wait 2 years. Those ships are considered new for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and all that comes from greed, though. Because they're wanting those ships that have been new during those 2 years to be, well, I say new, but new in quotations. That they don't want you using a free ship coupon in order to claim them for free. They want you to fork out your real life money to get Zen so that you have to buy them. Yeah, it's all about greed.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right about that.
Straight up.
Now, I would like to pose this question, and before you answer, I'll give my thoughts on it as well. But what do you think the longevity of Star Trek Online is going to be in its current state? My opinion is I'm not entirely certain Star Trek Online is going to be around. I'm not saying it's going away, today or tomorrow or anything like that. It could take a couple of years. But I personally think that Star Trek Online in its current state is dying. The reason I believe this takes it back to when the Foundry was a thing. The reason the reason they killed the Foundry was because all of the people involved in creating and maintaining the Foundry had left Star Trek Online, and then something catastrophic went wrong with the Foundry, and nobody knew how to fix it, so they had no choice but to get rid of it.
They did an update, and they admitted to that and said, "We broke it. We don't know how to fix it."
Exactly. That's exactly what they admitted
So what they
to.
do? They turned it off.
They turned it off. And I personally believe that at some point, Star Trek Online is going to end up in the same boat because they've already gotten rid of a lot of their developers of this game. Mm-hmm. And I think at some point, and like I said, it may take a year or two, maybe 3 to 5 years. I don't know, but I think at some point that it's going to end up the same way, where something is going to break. That's going to be a catastrophic break in the game, and nobody's going to know how to fix it. And they're not going to have any choice but to retire the game.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
What I was thinking is, I think Star Trek is eventually going to die. There was a game that I played up until shortly before I found out about Star Trek Online, and shortly before I found out that it was going to go free to play. There's a game called Riders of Icarus that it was in control of somebody else was in control of it, but they sold it to Decca, and now I literally cannot get. I can get Riders of Icarus to download, but I cannot get it to upload to load up to where I can actually log in.
I didn't need to activate.
And they say I have to download something, and I tried downloading the file that they said I needed, and it still won't play.
Yeah, something's a little screwed there.
Yeah, I think they're going to eventually do this to Star Trek Online and Neverwinter, the other game that I switched over, that they're trying to also.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I've been in this game since I was 25, and I'm 39. I'm fixing to turn 40 in May. So I'm aging myself. But I was an original beta tester back in the day, and then they locked it behind a paywall, so I walked away from it for a little while and came back when it went free to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been playing it since I was 25. I'm 39 now. And to throw away a game with this much storied history, to me, is going to be a big thing. But given what I've seen about Decca is the company where games go to die.
Yeah, that's what I've always heard.
Yep.
Yeah,
and that scares the living daylights, because I love playing this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, and I remember back when it was first announced that Decca was taking over development of Stowe. That was the first thing I heard was usually any game that is owned and run by Decca ends up going into maintenance mode, and they don't all get shut down. They'll just go into maintenance mode. You can still play, but nothing new is added. And I was like, well, that's really disappointing and sad if that happens, simply because that's one of the reasons we keep coming back is because of their campaigns and the ships that they give us and everything. And if they stop doing that, well, I mean, just look at the previous month or so. Most of us didn't even really get on and do anything on Stowe because there wasn't a whole lot to do. And, there wasn't anything really new coming in or anything. After we completed the winter event, we all just kind of quit playing for a while, most of us, and went off to do other things. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why I really got into playing Marvel Rivals, is because there was nothing going on in the game, and there wasn't much point in constantly doing TFOs over and over again, because I can't, I'm at a point right now where I can't improve my builds just yet, because a lot of the stuff that I need is on ships that are in the Zen store, so I need the free coupons and stuff for that. But the point is, if they go into maintenance mode and nothing new is added, eventually the player base is most of the player base is going to go away because there's not going to be any point in continuing to, play the game.
Yeah.
I would be very disappointed.
And we're already seeing that to an extent with the dilithium market. All the whales
I was
that
about to talk about that.
Exactly. All the whales, that normally, would buy the Zen to sell for dilithium and stuff like that. They're already not. I mean, otherwise the market wouldn't be in the shape it's in right now.
And I've said it 1,000 times. You don't know how to fix the dilithium market. It's easy. You reset it and take it back to beginning states and make it, this is supposed to be a free-to-play game, okay? Let's get that dilithium market where it's more affordable for the free-to-play players.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm tired of all the people that are putting stuff into it.
There's several things they could implement within this game to help fix that dilithium market. They just don't do it. They're not willing to listen to the player base, for their suggestions. I mean, I personally have a suggestion of my own where I think they should create housing for us in San Francisco.
I agree.
I agree. Oh, wouldn't it though? And then you could use dilithium. You could use dilithium to buy furniture. To house your stuff. I mean, you don't think if they had you buying furniture with lithium, what do you think that's going to do to the market? It's going to bring it right back.
And that goes with something that I think we talked about. It's been a little while ago now, but this is an MMO RPG. It's a role-playing game. I would like to see more stuff implemented that would allow you to actually role-play. I mean, the whole reason I don't really do the role-play thing in this game and just get on and just do TFOs and stuff is because, to me, there's not enough stuff in here for me to want to role-play. And another thing is I'd like to see more than just the bridge and conference rooms as interiors. I would like, and of course the engineering and stuff, but I would like to see it to where, even if it's just like a generic design that, they do like 3 or 4 different designs for different ships and stuff, I would like to see them do full interiors for the ships. Like, and it's sad that I have to use this as an example, but this Tier 4 ship that's, in the reward for this event, its interior is a full interior because it's a small ship, but it is a full interior that you can go all the way through and everything. I mean, it's technically the quote-unquote bridge, but it actually goes to all the rooms of the ship. I would like to see something like that on a larger scale for the big ships, too. Well,
I've said this for years. Why am I standing up? I don't know why. And the devs have talked to this, and I'm going to say this. They're 110% completely wrong.
Yeah.
There is a market in this game, and I know it to be true because there's been so many people I've talked to over the years that have said, give me the bridges and the interiors from the movies.
Yep.
I want to go on a refit Constitution. I want to run the corridors. I want to go to the engineering. I want to go to the sick bay.
Yeah.
I want to have the Enterprise E corridors. I want to have the bridge. I want to have the Captain's Ready Room, the conference room, the engineering section. I mean, the base engineering that you get on most starships, that engineering room is, to a degree, the Enterprise E engineering section.
Yep.
Just not properly
graphics
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It didn't have a proper graphics.
Yeah. There's people that said, I want to run the Miranda Bridge, Ambassador Bridge, the Excelsior Bridges.
Oh yes, yes.
There's 2 or 3 different versions of an Excelsior Bridge. You've got the refit, you've got the Excelsior, you've got the NX Excelsior.
Yep.
There's 2 different versions of the Constitution refit.
Yep.
There's people that want the Stargazer Bridge.
I want the one bridge too.
And see, that's the thing, is, and Bot, you've said this before, they don't realize how much money they could make if they did all these bridges.
Oh my God! I mean, build them all, put them in a pack, say 2,000.
Yeah.
You know, group them off
1,000.
into 2 or 3
Yeah.
bridges a pack, and say,
I
here
was-
you go.
I was just gonna say too, because their biggest gripe about the bridges is the fact that they don't make enough money.
Mm-hmm.
So raise the price.
Right.
Well, you make all these crap bridges that no one wants. Everybody wants the legacy bridges.
I'd pay 1,000 Zen for the Excelsior Bridge.
I'd pay 1,000 Zen for
Go
the
ahead.
Constitution refit with both variants.
Yep.
You know, I mean,
1,200 for all 3 variants of the Excelsior Bridge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. That says they could they could make a killing off that if they would just do it.
There's people that fly the I know it's among some trekkers it's unpopular, but there's players that want the JJ Prize Bridge,
Mhm.
the JJ Universe Vengeance Bridge and corridors,
Yeah.
Yep.
the Kelvin Timeline Bridge from the USS Kelvin.
Mm-hmm.
I would love, on top of that, I would love to be able to, not just have to go to Starfleet Academy, but I'd like to be able to visit the shuttle bay to depart and arrive on Starfleet Academy via the shuttle bay.
Yeah.
Or just take the shuttle.
Because that's in the tutorial.
I'd
We know
love
it
to have-
exists.
I'd love to have Starfleet Command.
That's where I was going. I would love to visit Starfleet Command.
Mm-hmm.
I would like for more decks on the Earth space dock because you can't tell me they
Yes.
couldn't do that. We have those decks.
We have them in game. They built them from one of the missions. That would to me seem like a simple thing to add to the game. You
Yeah.
know?
And I'm going to say this because I think this should be done. Take the Lexington Bridge and put it with its counterparts from the damn mission and give us the corridors.
Yep.
Yep.
They built a whole new engineering for that sucker, for that Odyssey. They built corridors, they built everything. Give us that as a bridge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Make that Lexington Bridge more than it is.
And Discovery's Bridge. Discovery Classic.
Yes, the
Crossfields.
Discovery,
Expand those
the
bridges.
Crossfield bridges, the Disco Enterprise
Expand them.
corridors and bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People want that stuff. That would be a moneymaker hand over fist.
We'll see, and
With the ability to put it on any ship.
Well, see, and that taking this right back to the original point of our concern about the future of Stowe and everything is, I don't think from the way Decca has handled it so far. I mean, granted, we're only a month or so into them being fully in control and everything, but I don't think, from what I've seen, it doesn't seem like there's enough people at Decca that are passionate about Star Trek that they would actually care to implement these kinds of things.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the people they let go were passionate about the game. They've showed that almost every day, and yet Decca comes in and what do? They get rid of them.
Well, and that's the thing is the people at Cryptic showed that they care. They loved Star Trek too. You could feel the love for Star Trek in the game. But for all we know, these people at Decca could care less about Star Trek. They just saw it as a money-making opportunity, and so they picked it up.
Well,
I know this. Go ahead, RJ.
I was going to say the one thing I noticed too is the people at Cryptic actually played the game.
Right.
Now, I don't know for sure, but as far as I can tell, I've not seen one person from Decca playing this game.
Right.
I haven't either.
So,
Even the community manager that took over isn't playing.
What was that, Chrono?
Their community manager took over. I haven't seen him play the game once.
Yeah, I don't even know who the community manager is. I've not seen him.
I've heard his name a couple times, but I can't remember what it is. But I mean, shoot, their so-called community manager barely even communicates with the fans.
Yeah,
I
didn't even know they had a community manager at the moment until Chrono just said.
Well, and people on X have been complaining about the lack of communication from him. They're like you're supposed to be you're the community manager, which means you're supposed to be the liaison between the creators, the devs, and the player base, and yet you're not communicating at all.
Yep.
And that's concerning. Well, and another thing that's concerning is, going back to this current event that we're in, the reward for it. Almost every one of us, when we saw it was a tier 4 ship, was like, what? Why?
Oh, yeah.
What's the point?
I don't even want it.
Yeah. I don't either. The only reason I'm even doing the event's because it's the year long.
Right, exactly. Same here. Because originally, when I saw it, and I seen some YouTubers covering it and everything. I mean, almost every single one of them was like, nobody wants this, but they were talking about the transwarp that it can do, and they were also talking about access to the exchange and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that's not bad. But then I was like, wait, I got the Ferengi Marauder. I can access all that stuff from it. It's like, so what's the point in this thing? This thing's stupid.
Well, and here's my thing too. And one other bridge that I thought of, and RJ can shoot me if he wants. But we need the Grissom Bridge.
Oh yeah!
I would love to see the Grissom Bridge.
Yeah, definitely.
We need would love it.
For those of us that fly the Oberth, we want the Grissom Bridge, and then give us a modernized version that goes with it that looks just like it, but is modernized with corridors.
Yeah. See, I want to see the Grissom Bridge too. But I want it to be animated to where it's constantly exploding and re-looping, like the Grissom did in Star Trek 3.
Oh, jeez. Don't be a douche canoe now. But here's I'm gonna add this to mine that I've been saying for years because I've talked to other people and they thought this would be cool. And I talked to one that I talked to previously, and he's like, they could put it behind a paywall and dish it out. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So, I've said for years, RJ knows, Chrono knows, that I want the docking and departure sequences that we see in Star Trek 3. We see it in Next Generation when the Enterprise reports to the one near Memory Alpha. And we've seen it in Star Trek 6. I want those. Okay.
And the funny thing is, you say that, and I was literally just thinking that like 5 minutes ago. I was going to bring that up, and I'm glad you did.
Now, where the person I talked to got off with this is he added something to that, and it goes with what I'm going to add to it. He said people want to be able to, fly into the dry docks and use them. I've talked to so many people. It's like, oh, I'd love to just, fly into dry dock, and say my ship's going in for repairs and fly in. Well, when you fly into dry dock, you're able to beam down to Earth space dock, beam to Earth, beam to the Academy. You're able to go to your shuttle bay and board a shuttle and fly it to Earth space dock, fly it to the Academy, fly it to Earth. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You take all that and piece it out. You could do it each piece of it moderately 400, 500 Zen. You can't tell me people wouldn't go crazy buying each little piece of that so that they could do that.
Oh yeah, I know. I would.
Oh yeah.
Because then you could role play the crap out of it along with the bridges that everybody wants.
Yeah.
You can have the cool scenes where you're flying your shuttle down to you're in a cinematic where your shuttle that's decorated like you want it, flying down to Earth space dock, or going through a docking sequence to a shuttle bay on Earth space dock, and landing, and you walking out the back of it. You could piece that out 400 or 500 Zen a piece, and on top of the bridges, say you get 1 or 2 bridges for 1,000 Zen. Those are money makers.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you mentioned it's funny, that's the second time that I thought of something that you mentioned that was, you're talking about the players wanting to be able to use dry dock. See, that's one of the I mean, yes, it makes sense that you can dock with ESD and then go to a ship repair person and get your ship repaired, but it'd be cool to be able to dock with a dry dock and do your ship repairs out there instead of having to go to ESD.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Not only would you be able to dock with it, but this is the part I didn't add because I forgot about it, but I just added it. But go through a departure sequence cinematic.
Right. Yeah. Well, and
Star Trek the motion picture.
You mentioned
your ship is kicking on its running lights and departing.
Yeah. And you mentioned cinematics, a little bit ago. You mentioned shuttlecraft and everything. That's another thing that's always bothered me about this game is that if you switch to a small craft, your big ship warps out, and then your small craft warps in. I'd like to see a cinematic where your small ship is leaving the shuttle bay of your ship, and then during the cinematic, it could show your ship either warping away or the camera just pans away or something, and that explains why your ship isn't there. I would love to see something like that because that would make it feel more more cinematic,
Here's my thing, okay?
Immersive is the word I was looking for.
We only build it. We only build it because we're using it for a mission.
Yeah,
that's fine. Build missions around that to where you can offer it to the game. It's in the mission. Now you've got it for purchase in the game.
Yeah.
And going back,
mind you, it's free to play. I could see them doing like a legendary bundle that isn't ships. It's the bridge packs.
Yeah.
Now,
well, I was gonna say going back to the cinematic of leaving Earth space dock. I want an option where I get the cinematic to use full impulse to leave Earth space dock.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, and also
click on it. It says 1/4, and you see your ship turn and go to 1/4.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I want full impulse though.
Yeah, and also talking about cinematics and everything. If you want to visit another player's bridge, they send you an invite or something. Give us an option to either accept the invite and like currently where you accept the invite and then boom, you're there, or you can go, or better yet, instead of doing that, in order to accept the invite, you have to go to the transporter room and transport over to their ship, or you could go down to the shuttle bay and then get a cinematic of your shuttle leaving your ship and then docking with theirs. So that would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
That was my biggest gripe the first time I went to the shuttle bay on Earth space dock. I got a pop-up that said take a shuttle to Starfleet Academy, and I clicked on it, and it literally just beamed me down. I'm like, hey, that's shuttle.
And that's another thing that bothers me.
So you take a shuttle to get beamed down? It's like, come on, Earth space dock could have beamed you down there.
And that's another thing that ruins my immersion is when you're on your bridge, and then you select leave bridge, you transport off your bridge in order to be able to take command of your ship. That is the stupidest thing. They need like a cinematic where you go to your command chair, sit down in it, and then it can go fade to black and then bring up your ship. That's all they had to do. The transporting off your bridge is the stupidest thing.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree.
I mean, it should be you click on your chair to depart your bridge.
Exactly. That's all they have to do. I don't understand why. I mean, it's not like they'd had to add any extra animations because there's already animations to sit in a chair. So there's no point at all in using the whole transporter thing. That's the most immersion-breaking thing I can think of in the game, honestly. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
And speaking of shuttlecraft and small craft and everything, I would like to see more stuff that you can do with them because they're pointless except for like a couple of missions where you have to use them.
Really, there's only really one mission where you have to use it, and nobody likes that mission.
Yeah, it's the vault, wasn't it?
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, nobody likes it.
Yeah.
I think there might be one TFO. I don't recall which one it is, but I think there's one TFO where you have to use your shuttle as well, which nobody likes either because it's never played.
Something else.
For the record, I'd also like the shuttle bridges that we have seen over the years in Stowe.
Right.
The Delta Flyer, the Runabout, and the big shuttle from Star Trek V.
Yeah.
I want those bridges. Those are bridges. Yeah. Those are the interiors.
And speaking of small craft and shuttlecraft and everything, another thing that I would like to see is a mechanic implemented into the game where if you are using a ship that has pets, that you can actually take control of one of those pets and actually fly as a fighter.
God.
And
that would
and
be
do
so sweet.
I
strafing
would just
runs
love
on
to
the
be able
bigger
to do that.
ships.
I would just love to be able to do that with the Enterprise D and take command of the Star Drive section instead of the damn saucer.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many things they could add into this to make this game just so much more appealing to people. And
Another one I was
everything.
thinking about, the Prometheus Bridge.
Yep.
That's one I didn't name, but we're talking every bridge. I'll just put this out there. I'll blanket it. Every bridge we've ever seen in Stowe is doable.
Yeah, in Star Trek, the series.
Because if it's an issue doing it because you need it for a mission, then let's start building some missions around that.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do a whole damn season on freaking time traveling, for Christ's sake.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to go back in time and dress as the appropriate character using a holo filter or something to do a mission.
Don't give me this one stuck in
It's
a
not like we
bathroom.
haven't done those
The whole
before, but
thing.
let's do it for a legacy year.
Well, and speaking of time travel and stuff like that, that brings up another thing that I was mentioning just the other night that is an issue that I have. I think it was Edgar I was talking to actually. One of my big pet peeves is you get a big open, when you go through missions, you got a big set of missions for Klingons, for Romulans, for standard Fed characters. But when it comes to TOS characters, you've got very little to do before you get pushed forward in time. Same for Discovery. And the big one that bothers me is Dominion. You have nothing for Dominion.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I want to see more missions specifically for those factions in the game.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Florida's.
Because it feels like they're neglected. They're literally. I mean, it's like when they. And the thing is this is actually knocking against Cryptic too, because they're the ones who put these factions into the game. It's like they just were like, well, we don't have Dominion in the game. Let's just go ahead and throw them in there and do like a quick introductory mission. And then boom, suddenly they're in doing all the missions that everybody else does. And that really bothers me because I would like to see more of an in-depth Dominion storyline, going on before you take part in all the other missions.
Yeah.
I want more TOS missions.
Yeah, right. Yeah, TOS, even though I hate Discovery, but Discovery too.
Mm-hmm.
But on top of that, speaking of things that, they really need to fix is some of the giveaways that they have where it's character bound rather than account bound. It's not an account unlock thing. And RJ and I were just talking last night about, and this isn't giveaway related, but still it's talking about account unlocks. When you unlock traits on a specific character, it should be unlocked account wide, so if you start a new character, you don't have to go back through and re-unlock all those traits again.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I mean, there's some that unlock, if they're legacy, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but how many people in game actually have the legacy? Because the only way to buy them is by spending $200, bucks on a legacy pack, which a lot of people, myself included, just can't simply afford to do that.
The one thing I will say is that I think with your T6 ships, if you've unlocked it on a character, that trait from that ship should automatically unlock on any other character.
Right. Yeah, and that's.
I mean, you're going to still have to level that ship up if you put it on another character, but you should already have access to the trait if you've already unlocked it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
And here's what I'd say to that too: make a level 2 version of it.
Yeah.
To where if you level that ship up on another character, it automatically turns it to a level 2 version of the trait.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And another
that
thing
gives you more of an enhancement to use said trait.
Yeah. Another thing related to that is, and there might be some disagreement on this because it would, I guess, possibly make it too easy for a new character, but the equipment, the space and ground equipment that you have, that you get for a character, that's like different rarities so that it becomes bound to your character. I would like to see that become just account unlock, so that if you do have a new character and you have space equipment that you would like to give to that character to put on their ship to give them a little bit of a head start, I would like to see them implement that to where you can just give equipment to the other character.
I'd like to see them remove the ship lock limiter off of all the T6 ships when you use them on low-level characters if it's not a level 65.
Yeah.
Or level 50.
I got one thing to throw on this. I just forgot one.
Because I think that's ridiculous. Where some ships you get all the forward arrays and then you get one of the back, and then you have to sit there and level up to get the other two. And then others you get like 2 slots up front and 1 in the back. And you have to sit there and it slowly unlocks all your other shit. Let you have a level 6 ship that's built up at a level 42 that's going to allow you to want to play a low-level character.
Can I throw in something here too?
Yeah, go
Why
ahead.
the hell did they...
Because, you're not going to do any better with the low-level gear. It's going to be the same.
Right.
Because you can't go to Mark 12.
With the TOS character. The account backs.
Well, it's like when you get get a tier 6 ship, one of those that you can actually put on a new character as soon as they finish the tutorial, it levels up with you. They could do the same thing with any equipment that you move from a level 65 character to a level 10 character, and have it to where it lowers it to the level of that character, and then as you level up, it increases in power.
Yeah.
Level-less equipment?
But basically, yeah. But if it turns out it's not if it's equipment that's already been upgraded to like epic tier or something that's like Mark 15, and everything.
I would also like to see a set of beam arrays that you could I would say you might have to upgrade them, but you could be given the option to take them to Epic automatically, if for high-level players, but make them available to where
They're usable identical.
Scratch that. I'm gonna take it back. They're automatically Epic 15, but you have to put your modifiers on them. You have the first time out of the gate, you got to re-engineer them to your modifiers.
Right.
But they're Epic 15 out of the gate, and they have a button when you equip them that allows you to select the energy type you want those to use.
Yeah.
We've got the cyclic weapons. Let's have cyclic ship weapons.
They
You've got
at
a button where you can just cycle through them.
Mm-hmm.
They at one point had talked about giving us the silic weapons for starships, but never followed through on it. For some reason it got axed. But they actually had talked about giving us those at one point.
Because they had the ship in stow that it was in Enterprise era. In the Enterprise era, the Romulan vessel that was the drone that mimicked every type of ship it had programmed into its hauler filter. It mimicked the weapon signatures. The only downside to it was the power. You could read the power signature, but it would mimic the disruptors or a phase cannon or Tetrion, whatever the case was.
It sounds like you moved away from your mic.
Yeah.
Sorry, it fell down away from my mic. I apologize for that.
Yeah, I agree.
That is such a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
I would also love to see them make improvements to this starbase here. Give us some updates. For Christ's sake, the captain's table. For those of us that have access to the captain's table, let's modernize the captain's table.
Yeah.
That thing is a relic that is next to, say, K7 and Starbase 31 Sierra are probably the oldest pieces of in-game visitable stations next to the Federation Starbase here, the fleet one. And Drazana, we could leave Drazana alone because it's just a broken down old space station, but
Maybe to the Ferengi.
Kill it for you, bastard, though.
Going to the Sherman system to K7, going to Starbase 39 Sierra, and come in here, and the captain said, well, those are relics that are left over from the early days of the game.
Yep.
And they've virtually, I love K7. I used to hang out, my character used to stay there all the time because you had everything right at your fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
They need modernization, updating to Starfleet standards.
Yeah.
I mean, because you see a Starbase, and they eventually get around to updating to new Starfleet standards, new, everything.
Yeah. Well,
because this Starbase alone is modernized to the original launch of the Odyssey class.
Yep. Well, another thing I'd like to see on top of that, talking about this fleet base is, I know you've got, fleet operation, or what was it, fleet TFOs anyway, that you could do here. I would like to see more stuff related to the fleet base. Maybe even like some custom missions that are created based around your fleet base, because it feels like once you get your fleet base up to full tier and everything, I mean, outside of using it to get the stuff that you need, for your character, really there's not much of a point in the base anymore.
I would love, and I mean love, now that I got this great internet, to be able to do a Starbase defense.
Yeah.
I haven't done that in years.
But Chrono can attest to this. RJ unfortunately cannot, but Chrono can. In the heyday of our fleet, when we had a lot of active members, takes 20 people to do it. But when you've got a good 20-man team that's locked in, loaded,
mm-hmm.
Holy hell, the fun you can have on that. Healing the Starbase, trying to keep it up. I would kill, I would kill for me and RJ to go into one of those.
Yeah.
And just be like, hang on, I'm coming over there. Bloop, here's a gravity well. I'm going to run over there and grab that one. Got it. Boop, here's a gravity well. And just watch the shit just en masse migrate across the field.
Yeah.
If I may interlude on this, Mountain,
because
I used to be the fleet leader.
I know, but...
Can I say something before you continue?
Yeah,
before my role was taken, I was running fleet events each and every weekend. Now the fleet leader won't do it. Now the fleet leader just doesn't even do it. He or she just ignores the fleet events.
I mean, I would give anything to do a Starbase defense. I mean, we can do the fleet alerts all we want. I mean, there's enough of us to get a 5-man team. We could totally do that.
Yeah.
But they're not on the scale that the Starbase defense is, because, as you know, when you warp into this system, there are 4 different little satellite things. There's the shipyard and this and that. And for those that don't know, in a Starbase defense, you all warp in and you're all around the Starbase. You defend the Starbase first, then you split off into your 5-man teams and you go and defend one of those outer pieces and keep it alive. And then the finale is you come back in for an onslaught that's attacking the Starbase again, and you got to keep the Starbase up and keep it healed.
I miss those days.
Depending on how fast you move, it can take 5 or 6 minutes to 7 to 8. I think the longest we ever did, because we had a lot of new members that didn't know how to run it. It took us like 10 minutes one day to do it, but it was a lot of fun because, hey, if y'all are good over there, we need a little backup over here. And you could send one member from your team to run over to help another team out and be like, here I come, I'm coming in strafing. Boom, dropping torpedoes as you run by.
Yeah.
You'd always have that one team that would finish their side first and everybody would break, and that team would spread into 2 people. One would be running the gauntlet, torpedo spreading everything, and then other members would break one would go to each individual thing to help everybody else out. And you just had that one coming in, throwing torpedoes, coming by, go by at full speed, drop torpedoes, head to the next one. By the time they got there, the torpedoes were refreshed. I'm hitting it again, boop, hit a spread, go by, keep going. And you could run the gauntlet.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a team effort between those 20 players of that fleet to get that thing done. But, that was RJ would have loved it back in the day, because that was one of the ways we tested some builds quite heavily, is how well you could hammer in that and keep up the strafing runs.
So I can survive a lot longer than I used to now because of my setup. RJ can attest to that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a.
You know,
And
go ahead.
I would love to see them give us the ability to do the star-based defense with NBCs that are like max level.
Yeah, right.
You know,
lower than difficulty for the fleet defense. It's max level nowadays.
And you know,
yeah, absolutely.
You know, speaking of things like that, you know, fleet-related, you know, TFOs and everything, I would like to see a real TFO that's based around a fleet that's Wolf 359. I would like to see one that is based around the Dominion War. And that's the thing is the Dominion War itself, you could have like multiple different battles, you know, that you could pick out different battles from the Dominion War to use as TFOs, like defensive DS9, attacking DS9, you know, any of the battles on the front, you know, but against the Dominion, the Cardassians and everything. I mean, literally, you could come up with all kinds of amazing fleet TFOs, you know, from the different battles through Star Trek history over the years.
Give us one with the Doomsday Machine, or we have the Enterprise.
Yeah.
And have to survive against it with the Constellation, by dragging the Constellation behind you, like they did in the Doomsday Machine episode. Give us something like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm laying in bed. My back is hurting. So that's why I'm screaming.
Yeah, see, they've got, just looking at the Starbase Defense, they've got it from 50 to 65.
Yeah.
Yeah. It used to be that.
Mm-hmm.
It used to
and they've got it set here. They, you know, the average time is set to 30 minutes. But, like I said, if you have the right players, the right teams assembled, you can blow through that one in 10, 15 minutes tops.
Yeah.
And not even make the 30.
And you know, another thing I'd like to see is variations of the TFOs we got, like Defense at Starbase 1, Resistance at Starbase 1, where, you know, right now you could take in a 5-man team and obliterate all the enemies. I would like to see one that's built around fleets where it's, you know, like, you know, 10, 20 ships from a fleet, where, and you're going up against AI NPCs that are equal in toughness to you, so that it's an actual battle, not just you going in and obliterating everything.
Well, that's where you would set it to elite. And
I mean, I've done a few of the elite TFOs, and even those aren't up to what I was thinking about. I mean, I want it to be where it's actually like insanely hard to, where you could go one-on-one with a ship, with another ship, and, you know, it could go either way. You know, even in elite, you know, it still takes like, you know, 2 or 3 ships to bring you down. You know, I want to see it to where, you know, if you go one-on-one with another ship, I mean, as long as it's equal in, you know, class and power to you, you know, it's an actual fight where you could easily lose if you make a mistake.
The Kobayashi Maru is a good example of that one.
But yeah, and then, yeah, any other, 'cause we're getting close to running out of time here, any other issues or concerns that you see, you know, in Star Trek Online?
I'm just
more uniforms.
I'm interested. I'll say this. There's 2 things I'm watching quite clearly, and that's going to be Star Trek Day. You know, they normally do the Star Trek anniversary event thing. I'm really interested to see where that goes, and I'm also waiting to see where we go with First Contact Day this year.
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering how they're going to screw that up or not make it good this year.
Right.
Because we're rapidly, and I stress the words rapidly, approaching First Contact Day, and we're just over 2 months away from First Contact Day. Just about 2 months and 4 days away.
Yeah. I'm there's been concerning things that have happened since the beginning of the year, but I'm withholding my judgment on them until we get further into the year to see how much they screw up. Because it could just be they kind of stumbled a little bit at the beginning, and maybe they will.
Maybe that's the case, but I don't know about RJ or Chrono. I can't speak for them, but First Contact Day, ever since they introduced that mission, and I will say this: the Halloween one that we do every year at the castle, love the hell out of that one. I think that's cool as hell. We went back to the original series for that one.
Yeah,
that was a great episode too.
But the First Contact mission with 7 on the ground, I have to say, is probably one of my most favorite events every year that we do. Simply because you're going back in time with 7 and 9 to the birth of warp drive for Earth, and you play an integral role in seeing to it that future and that timeline is maintained. It's probably one of the best ones in game that you ever do, that is directly / indirectly tied directly to one of the movies, if that makes sense.
First Contact.
Yeah, you're literally in the event of First Contact, but from the ground perspective, handling what we didn't know was going on, which was newly assimilated Enterprise crew members are being beamed down to the planet to try to simulate the planet. At the same time, they're fighting on the ship to keep them from going down, but they're going down.
Yeah.
See, I would like them to bring in Patrick Stewart for that map, for that mission exclusively. Because him doing stuff for that would be awesome.
I saw somebody that floated one. He said, I would love to see them do another ground map. There was 2 he wanted to see. He said, let's get a event one for that where you do the space battle of the second battle of Earth. Where it culminates in you engaging with the Enterprise E and, destroying the Borg cube. And I'm like, I'm down for a TFO like that.
Yeah.
100% down for that. That would be cool as crap to go to the second battle of Earth.
Yeah.
But he also said, let's have another ground TFO that takes place on the Enterprise E, and you're part of a team that is fighting to keep the Borg at bay and keep them on the ship. Basically, going to deck 16. It could be you're doing the deck 16 mission, but it's after the initial fail of trying to retake deck 16, and it's now you're just holding your post and trying to keep the Borg at bay, and I'm like, dude, I'm down for that. Give us a couple options for First Contact Day.
Yeah.
Because you can tell me you wouldn't do a space TFO where you're participating in the second battle of Earth, which culminates in you engaging with the Enterprise E and blowing up the Borg cube. You literally get to target that spot and open fire with the fleet and engage it and go into a cinematic of it exploding.
We do the Picard one with the finale of Picard, where we go on the cube and the trench run with the Enterprise D.
Because you could literally throw in the audio file. This is Captain Picard. I'm taking command of the fleet. Target your weapons onto the following coordinates, and then that becomes your map where you just dump everything you've got.
Yeah.
And it's everybody dumping, along with the NPCs. And then eventually, once you do enough damage, boom, the ship goes to an explosion.
Yeah.
That
would be so cool. I mean, they did Wolf 359 this past year for that Legacy anniversary. That mission, while some people didn't like it, I actually kind of enjoyed that because it gave us a glimpse at the fleet battle that we never really got to see other than those few cinematics in DS9's opening of the season.
And Star Trek Borg. Remember?
Well, yeah, some of it in Borg, yeah, but
we got to see part of that.
That was a really well done piece, and I'd love to see them do another one for First Contact. Even if they just gave us a space option for First Contact Day, that would be great.
Yeah. And on the subject of Borg, another thing I'd like to see is another faction that's the Liberated Borg. So and have it and add more Borg ships to the game that you can earn through the liberated Borg storyline and everything. And then once you get to a certain level, be cross faction unlock and all that. I would love to see something like that, because I feel like really the Borg are just cannon fodder for the most part. I mean, they're just there to get blown up over and over again. And that's still something else that bothers me, is the lack of love towards the power of the Borg. Borg are way too easy to beat. I was hoping that with this new Mirror Universe Borg thing, that they started last year, that it was going to be, because they were talking about the Borg were going to be more aggressive and powerful, and we got the Resistance of Starbase 1 and the new missions. I'm like, they're not more powerful. You still blow them up as easily as you did the other Borg. I want to see the Borg where they will.
Where they go with Hugh's character.
Yeah,
I want that was a great grab.
I want to see the Borg be able to. I want to see the Borg be able to adapt to our weapons in space, to where if you use a certain weapon too much, you have to use something else, an ability or something like that, in order to be able to start doing damage. Like you do on the ground, you have to rotate your weapon frequency in order to be able to attack the Borgs they resist. I want to see that in space too. And I also want to see Borg ships have a lot more health. The Enterprise E destroyed the Borg sphere in no time, so the spheres are fine the way they are. But the assimilators, especially the cubes, are ridiculously underpowered and too easy to destroy.
Are you saying you no longer want me to one-shot cubes?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's a great example too. Is if you can do a build where it's powerful enough that you can instantly destroy a cube, then there's a problem. Maybe take a big chunk out of its health, yes, but instantly destroy it, that's something that you shouldn't be able to do to a Borg cube.
Enterprise did that one time. The E, when they went back to try to assimilate Earth to stop the first warp.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got to remember that was a Borg sphere against 4 quantum torpedoes. Quantum torpedoes have that quadruple yield. They were a miracle torpedo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a revolutionary jump over the photon torpedo.
Well, I think Edgar was talking about the actual battle of the cube. But see, the thing is that the point that the Enterprise got there for that, there had already been a battle had been going on for a while, and there was already damage done to the cube. And
that was a couple hours worth of a battle.
Because of his link to the Borg, could sense where there was critical damage, and that's why they were able to blow up that cube so easily. And even then, it took the Enterprise E plus every other ship targeting that same point to blow it up.
But here's the thing. I think that was a trap set by the Borg Queen.
What makes you think that?
Okay, I'll give you the brand new. Okay, they get in the thing, they open fire, they save the Defiant. They turn out, and he's like, "What's the status of the Borg cube?" Data starts giving, and then all of a sudden, he starts hearing the voice.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, he jumps up from his chair. Data, open a channel to the fleet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me that's not a trap. When the Queen comes prepared with a cube that's able to launch a Borg spear, and all of a sudden Picard knows where to target it instantly to destroy the son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And that cube just happens to come fluttering out its emergency door. That spear comes just fluttering out the emergency door on the side of the cube as the cube is going kaboom, and the sphere starts dumping chronometric particles.
Yeah.
For a time travel jump. You cannot tell me that wasn't a setup, because even she says, "You can still hear our song, can't you?" Like she knew that he could hear the song the whole damn time.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because think about it. They get back onto the ship, And as soon as he hits, as soon as he hits the bridge with Worf, he says, "We've lost all communication with Deck 16, internal sensors, communications, everything." He said, "I was about to send a security team," and Picard goes, "No, seal off Deck 16, post security detail at every entry point." Because he started hearing the voices down on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
What did he do? He beamed back to the ship with data. And then it just so happens that as soon as he says that, he asks for the actual environmental conditions in main engineering. He reads it off, and then he goes, "Just like a Borg ship."
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts to put it, "Oh shit, this was a trap." Because he says, the Borg knew their ship was doomed. Our shields were down. Somehow they found a way to transport out over here without being detected. He starts to put it together, and then what so randomly starts to happen? All main controls being rerouted through main engineering. And what has happened? Data has to sit there and fat finger the crap out of those controls to lock out the main computer. You cannot tell me it wasn't a trap.
It was.
Because he's hearing what the Borg Queen is deciding to do, and he's able to do it, but you can't tell me the initials weren't a trap, and then because they, their initial plan, we'll just go back in time and assimilate Earth there, it failed. Well, the Borg Queen says, well, hell, we'll take the starship and we'll make it our place.
Yeah.
Now, that part doesn't turn out to be a trap, but her getting him back on board trapped them up there because now they can't communicate with the away team on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Which effectively takes the starship out of contention play of helping those on the ground if they were to start beaming stuff down.
Yeah.
If they gain control of the transporters, because they're stuck up there, they can't help them on the ground, and she starts beaming drones down.
That's what's going on in the mission.
I mean, if you think about it from a logical standpoint, every bit of that in some form or way originally started out as a contingency trap plan if she drew Picard into that battle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it doesn't read and scream like that to you, I don't know how to tell it to you any other way. Because to me, that's what, after all these years of loving that movie and watching it, it finally clicks because he starts... I mean, he really, to me, I think he really starts to put it on together. When he beams back up, he says, they knew their ship was doomed. Our shields were down. Somehow they transported over here without being detected. He's in Dixon Hill mode. He's detecting it. He's detectiving the crap out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he goes, what were the exact environmental conditions in main engineering? Detective mode. He's asking, what's going on in engineering prior to the communications blackfoot? Atmospheric pressure was up 2 kilopascals above normal, 39.1 degrees Celsius, just like a Borg ship. The detective in him is saying, okay, here's what's going on. I got it. Crap, now we got to figure out how to stop it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that all makes sense, but we gotta, we're like way off our topic now. I mean, it's Trek related, but we need to, it's all right. We need to get back to the, to Stowe, and actually we gotta wrap it up, but
one of those passionate things. I'm apologizing.
Yeah, we'll go over that kind of stuff on another Admiral Summit in the future. Which, by the way, any suggestions that anybody has, put in the discussion ideas, topic ideas channel on the Discord, and we'll add it to the list of things, because we need everybody coming up with ideas and participating so that we can have tons of topics to go over, if we want to keep the podcast going and everything. So but anyways, so any last thoughts on Stowe and its future or anything before we end the podcast?
Not at all.
Just waiting to see where we go.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I know, my opinions might seem bleak for the future of Stowe. I truly hope I'm not right on this. I hope that I'm wrong, and that Stowe, lives on for another 10, 12 years. But
I heard
because this is the one game I literally keep coming back to day after day.
Yep,
I even pay for a subscription to World of Warcraft, and I haven't been on it in months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like I said last week, that this is my comfort game because
Exactly. Mine too.
after the really horrible nights that we had on Marvel Rivals, where I got infuriated at the horrible matchmaking, I stopped playing and switched over to this. To Star Trek Online in order to calm down because it's a very calming game to me. You know, even the battles are like calming. I don't get annoyed at them or anything. Yeah. It's just, you know, it's very soothing to me, you know, and so yeah, I'm like you. I've been making, you know, bleak predictions and everything, but I'm really hoping that we are incredibly wrong and Deca actually does, you know, develop a passion for the game and start supporting it the way that we hope that they will.
Yeah, and for me, you know, I mean, I created my character Blake that I'm currently on right now. It is based off of me in real life. If I were to join Starfleet, Blake is exactly the character I would be. I'd be a science officer, work my way up to the ranks, make myself a captain, you know, whatever needed to be done. But I would start out as a science officer. I have always been interested in astronomy and the stars, and I would follow through with that in Starfleet.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I like playing Blake so much, because, you know, I made him after myself in real life.
So
You
what?
know? I mean, I've got a better body than he does in the game, but you know.
Yeah. So what?
Don't we all? Oh my God! Jesus!
What career path would a streamer fall under? A gaming streamer, because that's the only thing I'm really good at. So if I were really to join Starfleet, what section would I fall under? I mean, there has to be somewhere in Starfleet that where they could make use of a streamer.
I would probably say an engineer would be my first. I mean, you know.
Maybe you could just let me test out holodeck technology. I could do that.
Live on a holodeck.
Yeah. I'll just be a lower deck person and just sit there and play with the holodeck all the time.
That could be this could be a topic for one of our other
What would we do if it was real?
What technology from Star Trek would you like to see in real life?
Yeah.
That would be an interesting topic to discuss.
I can already answer that one right now.
Oh, I can answer that one too. Let's save it.
We'll hold off. Yeah, I'll add that to the list.
Well, adding to that, let's save it. I'm off again on the 15th for a weekend.
Okay.
So if we want to schedule it for the 15th for another Admirals Summit, I'm available for that one.
Awesome.
Next time we're doing this will be on my bridge. Just throwing it out there, bro. No.
Yeah, I told Chrono that we'd do the next one on his bridge. So we will do the next one on his bridge whenever it's going to be.
Well, we'll have to do it in the original series conference room.
Yep.
3/23 of 2012 is when I started playing at 5:16 in the morning.
And we'll open the blast shields. Open the blast shields.
Yeah,
there's a little bit of Star Wars mixed in because they got those blast doors in there. The blast shields. It's like, open the blast doors. Open the blast doors. Well, in Star Trek's case, it's open the blast shields. Open the blast shields.
Yeah. So yeah. We might do one on the 15th. I was wanting to just kind of do one a month, but we might go ahead and do a bonus one since you're off. We'll have to see how that works out. But yeah. So any closing comments or anything before we end the podcast and the stream?
I just like to say I hope everybody enjoyed tonight's Admirals Summit because I think it was a good one.
Yeah,
for a second one, it was a good one.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like I told RJ earlier told everybody earlier that I don't know if that first one, because it was kind of more like a test bed type thing for the idea of the podcast and everything. I don't know if we'd necessarily consider that to be the actual first official episode. It'd be like episode 0 or something. But yeah, I'd say this would probably be the actual first official episode of the Admiral Summit and everything.
You'll have to make an edit of it and just make it an actual podcast so it sits by itself too.
Yeah. Well, something I did this time though is I actually am having OBS do a separate recording of the video that I can upload it. Because if I download the stream and then edit out the actual podcast portion of it, it's going to be bad quality when I re-upload it. So I'm actually recording it separately so that we'll have a good quality video.
You got a good master copy of it.
Yeah, and then I will extract the audio from it. And actually, I'm literally going to try to create an actual theme for it, a musical theme and an intro like you'd hear on an actual, official podcast and everything, and then work on uploading it to a podcast site and all that. So, so I really would like to make this an actual official podcast. So yeah.
And we love you guys out there in YouTube land that are watching us, or if you haven't got to watch it live, we'd love for your suggestions. And we're gonna have to get a page or an email up that we could get suggestions on and stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could actually add a channel into the Admiral Summit podcast section of the Discord that's actually for viewer suggestions and everything. That way, all they'd have to do is get on the Discord and post their suggestions.
Absolutely.
Or they could do the in-game emails, because everybody has their own little in-game email.
Yeah, that'd work too.
So whoever's gonna do it to send it to Pixel or anybody, just to make sure it does get across, get through to everybody, so we know.
Yeah. So that was a good official first Admiral Summit, and I'm looking forward to doing this again. We will have to discuss over the next couple of weeks what we want the next subject to be. And in the meantime, everybody, take a look at the discussion topics idea channel, and because I've listed all the topics we've come up with so far in there, and we will look at them and see which ones we actually would like to do for the next one.
And I would like to say that this was a really good first topic for our first podcast. So
yeah,
this was a good topic.
I
wish there was a way we could get Deca to view this and
really
legitimately, so that way, they could see where their player base is thinking about this game. We only represent a small portion of their player base, but I feel some of our thoughts are probably represented by a lot of people that play this game.
What I could do is create an X account for my YouTube channel and post the video version of the podcast to that.
Yeah.
And then one of you, because I wouldn't want to tag them in my own video, but if any of you have an X account, then you could go and tag them in it, and that way there'd be a better chance of them seeing it than just it being put up on YouTube and uploaded as an audio podcast and hoping that somebody stumbles upon it,
Yeah.
So
yeah, I can do that, but I got an X count. Whenever you upload this portion of it, I'll just put it on Twitter and then tag them and make sure even more people get it and see it.
Right.
And I just want to point this out because I have I'm a little bit ahead of the thing, but in April I'm off on the 5th, and that's on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to have a First Contact Day Admiral Summit on that one.
That would be kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
I was just
That's
looking. I was
gonna
like,
be,
holy
yeah.
crap, the 5th's on a Saturday, and I'm off.
And see,
So-
you should have saved your long diatribe
I
about
know.
the Borg Queen and Picard until then. Now you're gonna have to go over it
Yeah.
all again on First Contact Day.
Hey, I don't mind. I don't mind.
It's bound through the chair.
All right. Well, I think in order to close out the podcast, everybody should kind of introduce themselves and say goodbye so that everybody knows who we all are.
Well, this is Admiral Boughton signing off for the night.
This is Fleet Admiral.
And
Signing out.
this is Fleet Admiral RJ Dragon on Blake in Star Trek Online.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the Paraplegic Gamer. Yeah, I think that's how it yeah.
Yep. And this is Pixel Realms, who is Admiral Troy Gray in Star Trek Online. And and we appreciate anybody who watches the video to this podcast or even the replay of the stream, or actually listens to the audio podcast when I get it set up. We appreciate you guys listening to us, and we hope that you will stick around and continue following the Admiral Summit, and feel free to throw any suggestions our way. I will have a channel created on the Pixel Realms Discord specifically for viewer suggestions for the podcast, and you can just feel free to come in, drop any suggestions of discussion topics you'd like us to go over, and we will take them into consideration, and we'll probably most likely use them. So, yeah. Or heck, even if I'm streaming and you jump in the chat, feel free to drop your suggestions there too in the live chat.
Well, I always see them.
We ought to get an Admiral Summit Facebook going too.
That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't check Facebook.
I was going to say, I don't do a whole lot on Facebook these days. I mean, shoot, my official channel page I do practically nothing with, and so if we did do that, somebody else would have to keep it updated, because I would not be very active on it very often. So anyways, so thank you everybody who has stuck around for the Admiral Summit, and those who are listening. And I hope that you all will come back and watch the next one and just continue to follow us.